All right, guys, how's it going? So we got some breaking news um, for Notre Dame football, of course, as you guys know, and they are going to be obviously renewing the Michigan State rivalry now. So that'll be starting in 2026, I believe. Yeah, 2026 through 2027. They didn't say like how long they'll be playing, but they are renewing the rivalry, which I'm very excited for. It's not really a rivalry that I really care for that much, to be honest. But it's certainly, I would say it's pretty. It has a lot of history to it, but it's one that I don't really care for because honestly, we've always like dominated them. We've had like a level of dominance for the last like 50 years, so it's kind of like, I don't really care. I personally don't care for the rivalry like that, but I do, I guess, appreciate it in a way because it does have a lot of like history to it. Um, but I will say that Michigan State has not been good um, for a while. Obviously, you guys seen last year they only won like 3 games. So honestly, Notre Dame, Michigan State. I mean, Michigan State is not that good of a team. They haven't been that good of a team. Um, and it's probably not going to be much of a rivalry no more like it used to be. Like because obviously Michigan State's just not. Again, just haven't been good. For the last like few years. Um, but anyways, yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy. About this. I'm really excited that we get to play Michigan State again. Um, and I'm also excited for um, they need. I really want them to renew the Michigan rivalry personally as well, along with Michigan State, because I think the Michigan rivalry is like bigger. It has more history to it. It's just more exciting. Personally, that's just my opinion. It goes back. It's probably one of the oldest rivalries in college football. Two of the most old, like two of the oldest, I guess, football teams um, in college football. Obviously, Michigan, started football in 1878, I believe, and then Notre Dame started in 1887. So those are Notre Dame, Michigan are like the oldest universities or the oldest like football teams. Um, but yeah, Michigan State, I don't really mind it. I'm really happy. I mean, we've had a level of dominance. I don't like Michigan State still, even though I do got family that goes there, which I respect that. Um, but I don't. It's just because of the rivalry. I don't really like. You got to have that kind of like. You got to have some kind of hatred, in a way, especially for what they did, and especially what they did in. I think it was 1960s, I believe, when they basically planted their flag in our stadium, which that was you know they should know that right there kind of made me like not really like them as much because of that. Like, and yeah, people will say, yeah, they're better than Michigan or whatever. Like, but their fans, Michigan State fans are just as bad as Michigan fans. Um, like Michigan State fans are just as bad. So, and I've heard the stories about Michigan State. I've heard stories about like how their fans, I guess, are like cocky in a way, as like cocky and just act like they've won something when they really haven't. They haven't won nothing since 1965, I believe it was. Like that's the last time they even won a The last time they even won a anything big, yeah, you could say they have more major bowl wins than Notre Dame does. Okay, cool. You know, they do. They got more major bowl wins than Notre Dame does. But the only thing is that we have more recent natties than they do. Uh, well, not more recent natties, but you get what I'm saying. 1988 compared to 1965. I mean, that's. I mean, we got more. We got more national championships on the like 1988 compared to 1965. That's more. We've obviously won more than them. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. That's the thing. Like Michigan State, of course, everybody's going to say, "Oh, they're a good school." Of course, they are. You know, but it is a rivalry game. It is a rivalry game, and I do got to have a level of hate for them still, even though I had some kind of respect for them in a way. Like, I mean, I used to, but not really as much no more. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because of the rivalry. But I don't hate them as much as USC. I don't even hate Michigan as much as USC. Like, I may dislike Michigan, but I don't hate them. You know what I mean? So there's kind of there's a difference. I don't hate Michigan State, but I don't like them. Like, so there's a difference. Like disliking a team and hating a team. You know, but USC is kind of like different. Like USC is like, I guess, at a different level because we just had more history with them. You know, we've had more history with USC. We had more all around history with them. So, as I was saying, USC, to me is the most hated, like the most hated rival, the team that I hate the most personally. Like out of all the rivalries, like I think USC is the one team that I absolutely just can't, that absolutely hate. Um, and yeah, so but Michigan State, Michigan, those are just dislike. That's all it is. It's just dislikes. Like there's a difference again between hate and disliking a team. Um, so I mean, I'm really, really excited, I guess, for this rivalry to come back. Even though I do wish that they do, I kind of do wish. I do wish 100. I wish they would have, renewed the Michigan rivalry over Michigan State personally, because I think we just have more history with Michigan than we do Michigan State. Like, we do. We got way more history with them than because Michigan State. I mean, we've been playing them. We haven't been playing. We've only been playing them since what, like the '60s, even like going back, like even the '50s. So we really have not really like faced them. We haven't faced them as much as we had Michigan. Like we've been facing Michigan since 19. Let me see. 1901, I believe it was, or 1920s. I do remember, like, we played Michigan, obviously, in the 1900s. I know that. That's when we started playing them. Um, so we just have more, I guess, history with. We had more history with Michigan. Um, 1 minute. I'm gonna look it up just real fast. because I'm thinking it's 1900s, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Let me see here. Oh no, I'm totally wrong on that. So Notre Dame and Michigan have been facing each other since 1887, and that's when Notre Dame started football. Is 1887, so they started facing each other right when Notre Dame, or right when Notre Dame, started football. Um, so yeah, and the Michigan State rivalry. Um, the Michigan State rivalry started in 1897. So I mean, I was wrong again. So it does go back a long ways. So I will say that I guess it has some kind of level of history, but honestly, I think the Michigan game though means a lot more personally. I just like that game. That rivalry is just more intense, you know. And I kind of wish because the Michigan State rivalry again hasn't been much of a rivalry for the last, you know, 100 years. Like it really hasn't. Like Notre Dame has had a level of dominance against Michigan State for like I was saying hundreds of years, and it's not really much of a rivalry, um, because obviously Notre Dame has had the advantage, for 100 years. So it's just like I don't really call that like it's just not really a competitive rivalry, if you know what I mean. Like the Michigan rivalry, that's more intense to me because they've actually been good. They've been a good team still, and they always keep it close at times. Um, and also they had their level of dominance, against Notre Dame. Um, Obviously in the 1900s or the not the 1900s, 1887. So when Notre Dame started facing Michigan, it took Notre Dame like nine games to finally beat Michigan. So Notre Dame lost 9 straight games to Michigan, and it took them like the ninth game or the 10th game to finally beat them. So yeah, Michigan certainly had a level of dominance, but Michigan State, the Notre Dame and Michigan State rivalry, of course, just hasn't been competitive. It hasn't. Like Michigan State has always they always get blown out. They always get slaughtered. Like we've seen what happened last season. They absolutely just got. They only won 3 games last season. That's just absolute embarrassment. Um, but yeah, so Notre Dame is set to face Michigan State again in 2026, going to 2027. I mean, it should be pretty interesting, I guess, but it depends on if Michigan State ends up rebuilding and they end up good again like they used to be. Well, then I could say that it's going to probably be the rivalry is probably going to be in the best place it's been because it's going to be more competitive. It's not going to be like Notre Dame just absolutely just dominating them. Like, so that's I guess the fun. That's the fun part, I guess. Like if they get better and they get improve a lot more, um, and keep the game, competitive. Have because I want to see. I don't want to see. It's not really fun when one team blows out the other. Like Notre Dame has had a level of dominance over Michigan State for a long time, as I was saying, and even even USC. But anyways, but Michigan State again just hasn't had. I mean, they've had some wins, of course, and they've had some wins, but other than that, it's just not really a. I wouldn't call it a rivalry. I mean, it is a rivalry, but then again, it isn't because it hasn't been competitive. Just like Notre Dame and the Stanford rivalry, or the Notre Dame and Navy, the Notre Dame and Army. You know, like those games have not been competitive. Notre Dame and USC, those games weren't competitive. I mean, okay, I'm not saying they haven't always been competitive, but Notre Dame's had their level of dominance against, USC, of course. They lead the series against USC. They lead the series against Stanford, of course, Navy, Army, and Michigan State. And those are the only rivalries that they lead. Like the only series that they don't lead is the Michigan series. Michigan's the only team that they don't lead. Like out of all the rivals. But other than that, yeah, they lead every other series, series, and yeah, they basically had a level. They have a level of dominance against their other rivals like Michigan State, like USC, Stanford, um, Navy, of course, Army. So yeah, I'm not really. I mean, it is a rivalry. I'm happy that it's back. I'm happy that we are getting it back. Because we haven't played them since 2018, which that was the last time we played them. And the reason why we didn't play them, why we quit playing them was because we were forced to, I guess, join. So in 2020, we were forced to join a conference because we weren't able to play football. We weren't able to play football in 2020 unless we joined a conference. So we had to join a conference, and we chose obviously the ACC. Well, we joined the ACC, so that forced us, I guess, to schedule ACC opponents. Then we became partners with the ACC, so that's the reason why we don't. I guess the reason why we haven't played them since then. Same with Michigan too. Like we haven't played them because of that, because we were forced. Not really forced, but we joined the ACC and we became partners with the ACC. And which is the reason why we haven't played them in a while, as I was saying. But anyways, yeah, I'm really excited. Leave a comment down below what you guys think. Are you guys excited for this rivalry to come back? Because I guess I am, in a way, even though I do think that Notre Dame's going to have their level of dominance again. Like it's not even going to be a competitive game, I don't think, or a competitive rivalry. Unless Michigan State is all of a sudden good again. But, I just don't really see it. I don't really see it being that competitive. But anyways, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys think, as always. And like I always, um, love to say, go Irish.